that particular project. Okay, simple project that you know how to create it. So now today we will talk about the constraint layout. First of all, and using the constraint layout, we also look at different uh, views that we can use in our applications. Of course, we have that particular text view, but right now I'm just deleting it everything. So by default is a constraint layout. We don't need to change it now. In the previous lectures, we are trying to change that to the linear layout or the relative layout, but now we are not going to change it. So let's start with some buttons. So you know that wrap content, and then we need to give that particular text property. Text property is like our button. I just copy this thing, okay, and then we will see that how we can apply the constraints. If we try to look at the preview, it will try to stick to that particular top left corner. Always try to stick that one. So these are the default constraints, default behavior, everything that you put here. Even if I just put one more here, let me close it down. So look at that. Now you can only see one button. If I click on this one, it shows me my button is here. If I click on this one, again it shows me that my button is here. So they are right behind of each other, overlapping. We can't see, only see one, but the other is behind that one. Okay, so let me apply some constraints. So you know that constraint top, constraint left, constraint right, constraint bottom. It means we are saying that the top side of that particular view, left side of that particular view, right side of that particular view. I'm just looking at that top. Constraint the top of this one. I'm not talking about this one right now. Constrain the top side of that particular view, constrain the left side of that particular view, constrain the right side of that particular view, or constrain the bottom of that particular view. And then we say two bottom off, two left off, two right off, two, and then we decide what is that. I mean, what is the second part? Whose bottom, whose top left, whose right, and whose bottom. So if I just say that I top, and then I say that look at it's in parent, and then again I say that constraint, I want to constrain the bottom to the bottom of, it's already there. I mean, I can change it here, no problem. I can just simply say to the top of. So look at that. This particular box, if I can just try to look it down so I can see that. Can I little bit, yeah. No, I want to change, minimize. No, it actually close that one. I want, okay. I want to show you those constraints so that you can have a look at it. Let us go into the preferences, and then we have that particular appearance. Okay, we have that particular specific font part, menus and tools. No, where is, yeah, here is the where we have editor. In the editor part, if we go to the fonts, we can change that particular size. Let's have 25. Apply. Is it fine? A little bit fine. Okay, maybe I can make it to 20 so that we can see the complete code instead of having that one. So font, I say that make it 20, and okay. So is it visible to you? Okay, so what I'm trying to do here, I'm applying those constraints. I say that top to the top of parent, bottom to the bottom of the parent. So now that first button that we put it here, it automatically align. Look, it show me the constraints. That top is trying to pull that particular button to the top, and the bottom is trying to pull that button towards the bottom. And because they are both pulling it in the opposite directions, so it will stay in the middle. Is it fine? So we apply some constraints. And then here I try to apply, I try to make it center line horizontally. So what we can do, constraint left to the left of parent, again constraint right, yep, constraint right to the right of parent. So look at that. If you look at that, it show me these blue lines, that the constraints we have applied on it. Is it fine? I can also have the same type of like constraints that if I apply all of them, all four of them, constraint left to the left of the parent, constraint right to the right of the parent, and then I also apply the constraint what, top to the top of the parent, and constraint bottom to the bottom of parent. So look at that, it automatically coming. If you look at that, it show me all these constraints, 4 constraints that we have applied on it. Is it fine? So we can play with those constraints, but right now I am giving this particular constraint a specific name. Sorry, this button I want to give a name. So I say that ID, and then we say that top button, and then here I put another button. I use the same constraints that I am doing here. I'm just copying pasting. You know that what's going on here. But I also want, now this button is actually here, same position, but I want to go below of that one. So we can say that constraint top to the top of, so not the top of, to the bottom of what? At the rate of ID top button. So look at that, automatically it's coming down that one. If I just look at that, and if I just try to put some margin, you will see that constraint which is actually exist over there with this one, these 2 buttons. Let me put some margin so we can see that margin. I want to put the margin on the top side, so that will be like 40 dp. And if I come down here, look at that, that actually constraint exists over there. So let me remove that one. And now you know that we also have that particular specifically style property. Style, again, look at it, it's automatically giving me some options. Of course, because I have used certain options in the past, so it is show me whatever it is. But we have different, we have colored, simple button. We have the colored button. If I just select it, look at that, it changed. Let me increase that particular specific sizes. Okay, text size, or we can we use the auto size text type, or text size, auto size text size uniform, and then I just try to change that particular width. Maybe I can say that 200 dp, not 20 dp, 200 dp. So it's a much more visible as compared to that one. Maybe we can say that I want to make it 100 dp. So look at that, it's actually trying to do that. So we have diff buttons. 250, I think 200 is fine, but I need to a little bit increase that one here. $200 and 100, or maybe 250. So let me have it like this. What I can say that I will put some more buttons here. Now we are again having the same button, bottom of this one, so it is not going to work. So what we can do, we can give that particular second button that we have put here an ID, and then we can say it is a colored button, and then here we change that particular constraint. So we say that not top button but the colored button. So look at that, it automatically coming down there. Fine. Again, if I try to copy paste here, it's again that particular button is same here. We can change that particular dot borderless on a button borderless, and it should be below, because we have not given. So that is a colored button. Sorry, this is a colored button. What's going on? This is a colored button, and then we have that go to the bottom of that particular colored button. So they are same. Yeah, we have to give the ID, and but we need to select, okay, it's a colored one, so we can say that dot small button. It does not make any difference, I think. Borderless colored, okay, borderless colored, and then I give that particular ID to this one. Bordered colored button, and similarly that's fine, but here we need to give that particular top. Instead of say top, we are going to say that we are going to put it on the below the border less button. So we have this one. So here we say that this one is this one, so we say borderless. This is a borderless color, this is borderless, though we have different type. So we can select different styles accordingly. That particular button is going to change itself. Let me introduce to you that particular, before we can go to the image, let me show you that how we can create those images that I just show you in that. If I go back into my slides, these particular specific images, okay, how we can create those images. So we can come down here in our drawable folder, right click on that, and then we say new. We want to image assets, okay, image assets, or the yeah, not the image asset. Image asset is going to take more thing. Vector asset. So here you can select something. We have different things here, whatever you want. Different icons are already there, so you can select something. Let's mode edit, okay, let's have this thing here. This is n. So we can also change the colors. Let me make it green, choose that one. So maybe instead of saying that particular one, to say that black, I say green. We can also have that particular size of that one. If we want to override, I say that instead of having that 24, I want to make it 100 by 100. So it will be a little bigger because of vector graphics, so it will automatically adjust that size. Again, we can say that it is 100 dp. Say next, it will go into our drawable folder. Fine. So look at that, we have that particular specific. How we can use it, we can simply come down here. Let me close it down. We can come down here, image button, again wrap content, and here we say that source is equal to the drawable, and then if we look at our added right of drawable, our insert emotion icon green exists. So say that, look at that, by default without any constraint it try to go to that to the top left corner. And what we want it below this particular button, and this button's name is, we haven't given yet, so we need to give that particular ID. So we can say that it's a borderless button. So here we can give that particular constraint top but bottom of, constraint the top to the bottom of ID borderless button. So look at that, it is going to the below that one. But if you want to make it center line, then you have to give those two constraints which are there, left to the left of the parent and right to the right of the parent. So it's coming down here. Is it fine till now? So how we can create those assets? We have different type of buttons that we can see, we can develop. Of course, right now see that what you have developed, but I'm just giving you the examples. Okay, so how we can do these things, how we can apply those constraints, top to the top of the bottom, and then accordingly we can apply all those things. Fine. Okay, that's okay. So I think that we can close our video, and then we will talk about some other part of the things. So where is my video?